So Mara is Buddha's enemy, and Buddha has this faithful standby, attendant. And the attendant comes to Buddha one day and he says, Mara's coming. We need to leave. We need to go. Mara's coming. Mara being the enemy. And Buddha says to his attendant, no, we're going to let Mara come in. In fact, let's invite Mara to tea. And I love this analogy so much because that's what I wasn't doing with my emotions when I was going through my sickness. And what made me sick is this strong, strong emotion with complete disallowance, with complete contraction against it. So what would happen? What would happen if you said, let me invite my anger to tea? Okay, anger, come on in the room, sit down, let's have a cup of tea. Let's talk. Why are you here, angry? Anger? Oh, I get it now. So, or what would happen if you invited your sadness or your shame or your regret? What would happen? Your guilt or your guilt, yeah. What happened if you had a little tea party? Really, that one stuck with me a lot, that little story. And I actually do that at the post office quite frequently. I invite Mara to tea all of the time. Not all the time, that's an exaggeration, but a lot. And then I'm back there. So if you're checking your mail and you're hearing me muttering, it's okay. It's okay. You know that I'm having tea with Mara back there. Okay. Yeah, that's a whole new way of thinking because us Westerners, we're taught Mara is the enemy. Those bad thoughts, those bad emotions, those bad ideas, we don't allow those. They don't get to come in. No. We could let them in. We could have tea with them, and then we could change our whole world. Mm-hmm. So, I think we'll do a little RAIN practice now, a little meditation using that acronym RAIN. And we'll start like usual. Let's just sort of get ourselves into a comfortable spot. We're into the time of day where it's nap hour. We've eaten, our bodies want to take a nap. And I assure you that if napping is any part of the rest of the afternoon during our time together, I will love you for it. It will be okay. Just relax. And if your body wants to go to that restful place because it's now time, it's okay. We're working on being aware, though, of our spinal cord and its arrangement in our body, because we want to have a body that is connected to the brain, that is connected to the heart, that is connected to the gut, that is connected to each other, that is connected to the universe. So if you would take those 3 diaphragmatic breaths and take your time, allow yourself to really, really visualize what happens to that breath as you take it, what happens in your spinal cord, your nervous system. And now I'd like you to just spend some time and think about an emotion or a situation that you might have had trouble with recently, an emotion that you had that was hard. Visualize a situation that you've been in and where that happened. You may also choose to just focus on a hard physical spot in your body. Maybe it's a hard emotion, but maybe also it's something that's going on in your body that's hard. And take that diaphragmatic breath to reset anytime you need to. Otherwise, you're going to return to your normal breathing. And beginning the rain practice, let's recognize, what is that feeling in that situation or that part in your body? Or what is that? A moment to recognize it. Using our skills, give it a name or more than one name. Now, moving on to allow. Say to yourself about that situation, that name that you gave it. Just say yes. And now exploring a little deeper. What is under there? What else is there? Name that. You can say to the new sensations and new thoughts, and this too. Or now this. And now the I in rain. Investigate. Spend time with understanding why. And if you don't understand, that's okay. Rise above and be an observer. This happened. Oh, that's why. That happened. I see. Spend time investigating. Were there unmet needs? Is there something from your childhood that caused you to feel the way you did? Now for the nurturing. Bringing kindness to this situation. Presenting a loving heart, your own loving heart to this situation. Speaking to this situation as though it were your dearest friend. Initiating some more deep breathing. Taking a moment, last moments to recognize if there's any bits of tension anywhere that came up during this process. And applying the RAIN method to that as well. When you're ready, you can open your eyes at your own pace and come back. You can use RAIN in meditation to connect, but also throughout the day, like I said. Back in the back of the post office whispering to myself. You'll know why now. I'm back there raining, raining all over the mail. So I wanted to see if anyone feels like sharing or talking about emotions or even about the process of RAIN as we just did that practice. Anyone wants to share their experience that you just had with that? Other thoughts?
Well, I used it on current event, current thing that's going on in my mind. I have several large projects looming, literally like within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And I haven't had this spring, I have just like had low energy and I haven't been able to do the preparing to get ready for these big events. So I used it on that and I allowed myself to feel the anxiety. So that was my feeling, recognizing anxiety. And then I worked through it. So I investigated all the parts of what was making me anxious. Doing a wedding for a grandson and they're not communicating back with me. So I'm in the dark. I'm just kind of in the dark about the service. They don't want a traditional marriage. They want poetry and all these things. So I'm writing their service. And then a workshop in Fairbanks the first week in May, and I'm not hearing back from the woman that's in charge of that. And so I'm shooting in the dark. It's like I have all this free-floating anxiety because I'm not getting any feedback. So I took it through the RAIN process. And when I came to nurturing myself, dear Judith, you know, you are going to do your best, whatever that is, and it will be good enough. It will be enough. Whatever happens in the next 3 or 4 weeks, it will be okay. It will be enough. Just continue to move forward. And some thoughts came to me about how to do that. So that was helpful.
love the self-compassion in that. I love that you said, dear Judith, and it's really, so if we can't, it's difficult to spread love to others when we're not compassionate to ourselves first. So I love that you said that. Did anybody else want to say? Yeah.
To be able to work through some of my emotions, like recognizing anger. Anger is probably one of the ones I recognize the most. And as I'm going through the process, you know, the breathing gets shorter, the adrenaline starts flowing, and I kind of examine all this. And then I start to think about the person that I'm angry with. Well, okay, well, he or she has got issues as well. Maybe she's having a bad day. So I do a whole kind of kaleidoscope of personalities and put myself in their shoes for once, or kind of have an understanding of what they're going through. So, and I like your illustrations, putting your emotions in a room and having a pity party. And I'd like to see a dialogue of that. Anger, shame, anxiety, and so on. So that would be a wonderful pity party expose. But I've been able to examine a lot of my issues and try to think through them and then put myself in their shoes, you know, understand what they're going through. And when I do that, you have a deeper understanding of all of the human connections, all the human emotions that we range in. And that is a sobering effect when you do
that. So there's a teacher or specialist expert on self-compassion named Kristen Neff. And that's one of the most important parts of her teachings for self-compassion is what you just illustrated, Greg, which is this ability or this practice of rising above it and realizing that person is like me, they have a bad day too. That person has their issues. It is just realizing the universe isn't here over your head. The universe is here over our heads, and we're all a part of it. And that trick is so important. So important. The other part of the trick is remembering to do that practice, because we can sit here and that's why we get together too. It's like we go about our daily lives and then here comes the anger again. And then before you know it, you're going, oh yeah, anger. And now here we, meeting and getting together, this community part of it is really important. Did John or Alex?
Yeah, kind of personal on one here, but
yeah, that's okay. No,
I tried it out.
You don't have to. You don't have to at all. In this case, I'm recognizing it's one path, and the path is love. And it might be written in the Bible, and it might be a Buddhist story, and it might be a walk in the woods, but it's one path, love. So the woman goes to the healer, her son has died, and she says, what can you do to bring back my son? And the healer says, well, I'll tell you what. You go down to the village and knock on all the doors and find someone who has not lost a loved one and bring them back to me, and then I will heal your son and bring your son back. So she goes down to the village and she knocks on the first door, and she's desperate to bring her son back, so she's really hopeful. does this household have anyone who they have lost? And she's thinking, oh, maybe I'll get one here. Nope, sorry, we do have a loved one. We've had to lose a loved one. So she goes to the next door, knocks on the door, same thing. She knocks and she knocks and she knocks. And every single house she knocks on, no one, there was not a single household that did not experience grief. They all did. She knocks and knocks and knocks and goes and goes and goes until finally it hits her. Yeah, you know, we all have this suffering. We all have this loss. And what it is this understanding that I'm you, and you, and you, and you, and you are me, and you are me. We're all more alike than we are different. We all suffer. We all grieve. We all make mistakes. We all have losses. We all have happy, beautiful moments. We all have people that hold us up. We're in this together. And that right there is a big key to my own understanding of what my emotions had done to me before. Once I got to this, yeah, you know what? I'm not the only one that had a mother who died of cancer. Yeah, not the only one whose dad died a year later. I'm not the only one whose sister lost someone. I'm not the only one whose child is sick. I'm not the only one who made mistakes. No, he did, and he did, and she did, and she did. And it's real. It's really an act of compassion to get to that point. It's easy to forget, but it's really an act of compassion. And it can help us be in our body. Because without that, we sometimes get to a spot where we're just the only one in the universe. And how lonely is that, to be suffering in your grief, which is easy to do, because remember, we've flipped our lids at this point because we're grieving or we're sad or we're angry, and we're not connected to our bodies at all. So we're just going me. I got hurt. I was treated badly. I had to suffer because my family got sick. No, we all do. And it's almost a relief. We're not the only one. And then when I realized that, guess what? I'm feeling my feet again. I'm feeling my knees again. I'm going, oh, okay, that grief really hurt my neck. You know, I'm remembering that energy was, there it was, you know, right down into my neck or into my throat. And what drives me to want to do this work is when that happens to you, that can make you sick, made me sick. That's why that is why this stuff matters to me, because I want to give people a chance to connect to your body and not get sick from the disconnection. So it's time. The last little bit about emotions is remembering they serve a purpose. And it's really often, you know, we were taught anger isn't bad, or sadness isn't good. Sadness isn't good. Don't show your tears. But our body gives us these little gifts, if we remember back to that poem, because it's telling us, just like a light on the dashboard of your car, when something's wrong with the engine check engine light comes on, right? Well, that's what emotions are doing for our bodies. That's the check engine light. Well, you're sad. Why are you sad? You're angry. Why are you angry? So what purpose does that emotion have? I'm angry. So guess what? That anger is going to help me, maybe because a boundary was broken. So maybe I'm working on boundaries. That anger is going to let some of this energy that I have, because this thing happened to me, it's going to let some of that energy manifest itself. Otherwise, where would it go? Into tension, into tight spots in the body. So just remembering that your emotions serve a purpose, and we need to really practice on allowing. So we should do a little body wiggling, jiggling, because we've been eating and because we've just been sitting and quietly listening to music. So let's get in a spot where we can just lift one leg at a time and rotate our ankles one direction and then another. Whatever is comfortable for you. Don't do anything that causes pain, just something that is easy for you. Our goal is moving energy around, connecting our mind to our body, giving a gift to our nervous system. And we can lift up the other leg and do the same on that. Both directions. Switch whenever you're ready. And take your feet to, this is kind of a fun one, and please be loud, and just stomp them on the ground. Just feel that energy. Just stomp your feet. Feel alive in your bottoms of your feet. Go fast. Slow it down. And you put your hands on your knees and just go knees in one direction, the other if you can. Just simple as you can. Yeah. And we'll now move to our torso, and just a slight turn in your chair, looking over your right shoulder. Don't do anything that causes strain or pain, just stretching and moving energy is our goal. And we'll switch and do the other side over your left shoulder. We'll go back to center. Now let's do some shoulder rolls. We'll go the other direction. Now, looking the head up again, don't do anything with strain, no bending farther than you can handle. Looking up, and then looking down to your belly, chin to chest. And you can hold it there for a little while. Just hold and feel that good stretch. And let's give our hands a little love. We'll just do a little of this. And yeah, oh, I like it. Judith's got some movement going on. She's going like this. We can do what's called a pancake flip. This is for your wrists. That. Now we'll give our jaw and our face some love. First of all, we'll just rub from the center out along your eyebrows. And just put your fingers right at the base of your ear and feel your jaw. Give it a little circular massage there. Either direction, both directions, and let's do a little bit of a